Hands on the mausoleum floor.
Alright, Hollywood, Gladiator 1 is one of the best period movies of all time and one of my favorites at the same time. But releasing a sequel 24 years later just feels like a cash grab, and I am not happy about that. So is the Gladiator 2 worthy of his name, or is it just an uninspired mess? Well, I watched it so you don't have to. By the by, I'm the movie guy, and let's start this video. We start 17 years after the death of Marcus Aurelius, and now Rome is led by two twins who are slowly ruining the great empire. We also meet Hanno, our protagonist, as he and his wife prepare to fight the Romans who are coming to invade their land. It was a nice trick that they pulled here, as I thought that Hanno would be in Rome and helping them fight, but no. I like going into movies as blind as possible, so this caught me off guard. The battle commences, and what a battle it is. Romans are coming by boat. Hanno leads his troops and he tries to defend their stronghold, but the numbers are just not in their favor at all. The Romans reach their stronghold and breach it. Now, Hanno is a very skilled warrior, but when he witnesses his wife killed by an arrow, he loses concentration and gets clubbed in the head and falls down in the water. He has a premonition. He sees death taking his wife, but she says that it's not his time yet and that she will wait for him. The stronghold is burned and the warriors are taken as hostages. We get a brief flashback into the past of Hanno. When he was young, he had to flee from the Romans. Now, years later, he's captured by them, although that was not the point of the battle. The only aim is to capture more territories. Back in Rome, General Acacius, who led the Romans into battle earlier, is greeted like a hero back home, and the twin emperors want to throw a celebration in the Colosseum in his honor. They also want him to conquer Persia and India next, and we see that Acacius is unhappy about the direction that Rome is taking. Hanno and the rest of the slaves are taken to an arena to prove themselves, and they fight a bunch of angry baboons who look awful, by the way. Hanno impresses with his rage, biting into the ape and then suffocating it. The leader of the gladiators, Macrinus, is impressed with this quality of Hanno and buys him. He wants Hanno to fight in the Colosseum for him, and he'll give him anything he wants if he is successful. Hanno asks for the head of Acacius. The general has a secret agenda though. Back at home with his wife Lucilla, he has prepared an army which will arrive in 10 days at Ostia, an army with which he will take over Rome and arrest the two emperors. This is the end of Act 1, and like always we will take a short breather in retrospect. One thing that is immediately apparent to me is that the similarities between Gladiator 1 and 2. Both characters seek revenge, both have murder spouses, both start the movie by touching nature, and both become slaves fairly early in the movie. It's not a big deal up until now, but if this movie doesn't find an original footing, then it will inevitably be overshadowed by the original. Macrinus arrives at a Senate party and makes a bet with Senator Thrax worth 2,000 denarii. Macrinus' warrior Hanno will fight Thrax's warrior life or death situation. Hanno wins after an impressive fight in which both guys use the environment to their advantage. I also loved how the people in the room had to constantly move out of the way. It gave it a realistic feel. The emperors were very amused by the fight, amused even more when Hanno breaks out 4 poetry verses from Virgil. The emperors now want to see him in the arena. Acacius and his wife present their plan of overthrowing the emperors to the Senate, telling them that they will have the power once the emperors are gone. The Senate agrees to help them, but only if their plan is successful. Meanwhile, Hanno fights a champion piggybacking a rhino in the arena and defeats him. The following plot points were expanded here. Thrax double or nothings the bet with Macrinus, betting against Hanno once again, so now he owes 4,000 denarii to him. Lucilla knows Hanno somehow. She realized it by the poetry he recites to the emperor, but also by his fighting style. Macrinus notices that they know each other. A quick flashback shows Lucilla sending her son Lucius away after the death of his father. Lucius knew the poem that Hanno said. Lucius idolized Maximus, and now Hanno fights just exactly like him. Macrinus gets a guy drunk in order to get information from him. He talks to Lucilla, and now he is sure that Hanno is her son. Lucilla goes to Hanno's cell, but it's not a happy reunion. Hanno says that her son is now dead. The games in the Colosseum will continue, and Lucilla asks Acacius to save Hanno from death. We're at the midpoint now. Some quick observations from me. First of all, the dialogue is amazing. It's very intriguing. Characters respond according to their own character traits, and it gives the feeling of authenticity. What's more, Denzel Washington has an amazing aura on screen. He commands every scene he is in. He's simply phenomenal. The next fight in the arena is a boat battle. Hano uses smart tactics to win it, but he also gets the time to let Acacius know of his intentions. He grabs a crossbow from the ground and shoots a bolt at him. He misses, but Acacius now knows that the one he's tasked with protecting, the son of his wife, wants to kill him. Yikes. Thrax now owes 10,000 denarii to Macrinus and he loses his house to him. Macrinus, however, wants more. He wants his loyalty. Thrax tells him what he heard from Lucilla's maid. Their plan is to break a gladiator out and then overthrow the emperors. Of course, Macrinus knows which gladiator they want, and he catches Acacius in the act of saving Hano. He turns him and Lucilla over to the emperors, and their plan is to kill them. However, Macrinus has another idea. What if Acacius were to die in the arena, giving him a hero's farewell that the people will accept? The emperors agree, and now Macrinus also fulfilled his promise to Hano. Acacius fights well, trying to get through to Hano, but he understands that it's not possible. As a final gesture, and one that usually works in movies, he surrenders and pleads one more time with him, and then Hano forgives him. The emperors want Hano to kill him, but the people want mercy. Hano doesn't want to kill Acacius anymore, but the emperors give the command to the archers around, and they shoot 100 arrows into Acacius. The people are not happy about this, as Acacius was their hero, and Hano makes a good speech rallying them up. That was the end of Act 2. I have to give it to this movie. The story started off too similar to the original, but man, it developed really well, and I have just been hooked ever since the start. I loved how Macrinus managed to keep his promise, but also get what he wants. I love the battle sequences. The choreography is very slick. I've been very entertained. Thank you for asking, Maximus. Rome is now in disarray as the people have begun protesting against the leadership of the emperors. Macrinus convinces the emperors to turn against each other and kills one of them. Now we learn that Macrinus is a former slave of Marcus Aurelius, and now he wants the throne, claiming that only in Rome a slave can become an emperor. Hano knows that he needs to put a stop to this. He sends a friend to Ostia, where the army of Acacius is, and now he embraces his family's roots. Lucius now has to defend his mother against an army of warriors in the arena. Before this though, he staged his own uprising, freeing all of the gladiators and taking care of all of the guards. So when he enters the arena, all of the gladiators storm to defend Lucilla. Now the army of Acacius is getting closer to Rome, and Macrinus feels that his goal is crumbling before his eyes. He murders the other emperor, takes a bow and shoots an arrow at Lucilla, killing her as well. He tries to escape on horseback, but Lucius follows him. Macrinus tries to flee, but he's surrounded. In the end, him and Lucius fight, and despite Macrinus having an advantage early, he loses. Now Lucius makes a speech that unites both sides of the Roman army, and just like that, problem solved. Just imagine Lucius now arguing with Senate over grain taxes. They'll probably stage another coup. Gladiator 2 was amazing. I was so hesitant going into it, first of all because there was no need for this movie to exist. It's also a 2-hour and 30-minute movie, which I think is generally too much, but the story on display, the characters developed, the gnarly fight scenes, and the unbelievable performances from the likes of Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal, Denzel Washington made the movie undeniable for me. And now you've seen Gladiator 2 through my eyes. Leave a like, comment down below if you want me to watch a certain movie, subscribe to my channel to see more, and until next time, keep on watching movies, guys.